Welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive. Today, we're tackling something I think a lot of you have been curious about, the psychology behind what makes a great tech person tick.
Yeah. Like, is it all just hard skills, or are there some soft skills that make a difference too? That seems to be the hot topic lately, right?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Companies are finally catching on to how important self-awareness and communication are in the tech world, especially with everything being so collaborative these days.
Makes total sense, right?
Yeah.
But how do we actually get better at those things?
Well, lucky for us, Eugene Kaluzniacky literally wrote the book on it. Managing Psychological Factors in Information Systems Work, an orientation to emotional intelligence.
Oh, wow. That's a mouthful.
I know, right? But don't let the title intimidate you. It's actually a super insightful read.
I bet. So is he saying, like, there's more to IT than just, knowing how to code and stuff?
Oh yeah, way more. He gets into personality types, different ways of thinking, and even this idea of a deep inner self, stuff you wouldn't normally think about when you picture a programmer, right?
No, not really, but it makes you wonder, like, what does that even mean?
Well, we're going to unpack all of that. But first, I figured we should start with something most people are at least a little familiar with, Myers-Briggs personality types.
Oh, right. Like the whole introvert versus extrovert thing.
Exactly. But rather than just going over what each letter means, we're going to dive into how these types actually play out in a tech setting.
Okay, so like which types are naturally good at coding or which ones would be better at, say, project management?
You got it. And Kaluzniacky points out something pretty interesting. He says, across multiple studies, there's consistently a 2.1 ratio of introverts to extroverts in IT.
Wow, really? I wonder if that matches up with what our listeners have seen.
Think about your own team. Does it seem like there are more introverts than extroverts?
Hmm. Yeah, actually. That's kind of weird when you think about how, in general, there are more extroverts in the world, right?
It is kind of a flip, isn't it?
Yeah.
Makes you wonder why introverts are drawn to this field.
Well, I guess it makes sense. A lot of IT work is, problem solving, individual tasks, really diving deep into those complex systems.
You're not wrong, but does that mean all those stereotypes about tech people being, kind of awkward and loners are true?
Oh, no, I don't think so. It's not about fitting some stereotype. It's more about understanding that different personality types have strengths in different areas.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, like think about the ISTJ personality. They're super detail-oriented, love those procedures and rules. So naturally, they're amazing at things like, debugging code, catching those tiny errors.
That's a good point. They wouldn't miss a thing.
Right. And then you've got the INTJs, the big picture people. They're always thinking ahead, seeing those long-term strategies. So, system planning. That's their jam.
Okay, now it's clicking. You wouldn't want a team of all ISTJs, right?
Yeah.
You need those big picture thinkers,
I
those detail-oriented folks.
Exactly. And it's not just those two types. There are 16 Myers-Briggs types, and each one brings something unique to the table. Knowing this stuff can help you build a crazy effective team and, like, avoid so much conflict.
Yeah, who wants to deal with unnecessary drama? Not me. But Myers-Briggs only gets us so far, right? Kaluzniacky actually takes it a step further with the Enneagram, which digs into the emotional side of things.
Oh, interesting. Like how our feelings impact our work.
You got it. The Enneagram is all about understanding why we do what we do, like what motivates us, what stresses us out, what we deep down truly want.
Okay, so it's not just about giving people a label. It's about understanding what makes them, well, them.
Exactly. So, for example, how do you think different Enneagram types would react if there was like a major system crash?
Let me think. Well, type 1, the perfectionist, right. They always need things to be right, constantly improving stuff. So I bet they'd be like laser focused on figuring out the problem and making sure it gets fixed perfectly.
Makes sense. They'd be all over that. Now, what about a type 2, the helper? What do you think they'd do?
Oh, I bet they'd be the ones calming everyone down, making sure everyone's okay, feeling supported.
Spot on. Type 2s just want everyone to feel loved and needed.
See? So cool how this works. So knowing your own type could totally help you manage those stressful IT moments.
For sure. But how does it help you understand your colleagues? It's not like you're going to go around asking everyone their Enneagram number, right?
Haha, right. No, you don't need to know their exact type. It's more about understanding that people react to stress differently.
So true. Some need space, some need to vent, some jump right into problem-solving mode.
Exactly. And knowing that helps you communicate better, navigate those tricky conflicts, and just generally be a more supportive team member.
Okay, I'm on board with the Enneagram thing. It's like getting a secret decoder ring for people's behavior.
I know, right? But wait, there's more. This is where it gets really deep. Kaluzniacky talks about this thing called two-tier consciousness.
Ooh, two-tier consciousness. That sounds intense.
It is. He's basically saying there's this deeper level of ourselves, a deep self that's underneath all our everyday thoughts and feelings.
Huh, so like an iceberg. You only see the tip above water, but there's this whole huge mass underneath that's driving everything.
Perfect analogy. And just like, an operating system, this deep self can be optimized to help us be more resilient, creative, and emotionally intelligent.
So that's where those desirable traits everyone's looking for come from. Not just from learning techniques, but from tapping into something deeper within us.
Exactly. But how do we actually do that? Like, what are the steps to access this deep self?
Yeah, that's what I want to. Do we all need to go meditate on a mountaintop or something?
That's what we're going to explore next. We'll dive into how to connect with this deep self and how it can help you deal with those classic IT challenges like work-life balance and team dynamics.
Okay, I'm ready to go deeper. But first, what about you? What's standing out to you so far in all of this? What are you thinking about?
Okay, so this deep self thing, how does that play into those everyday struggles we face in IT? Yeah, it's not all just theory and concepts.
Right. Like, how does it actually help?
Well, think about one of the biggest challenges in IT work-life balance.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Like, we're always connected, always on. The lines just blur.
It's true. And sometimes just switching from, like, your work laptop to your phone, it's not really a break.
It's so true. I try to relax by, like, scrolling through social media or watching something, but I end up feeling more drained.
Right. And that's because you're not really addressing that underlying need for, like, inner peace and balance. You're just distracting yourself.
With more stimulation, more screen time, a vicious cycle.
It is. And that's where this whole deep self thing comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Kaluzniacky suggests that connecting to this deeper level of yourself can bring a much more genuine sense of rejuvenation.
Like finding that inner source of calm and energy instead of relying on external stuff to make you feel better.
Exactly.
Okay, but how do you actually do that? Does everyone need to go on a silent retreat or something?
Well, it doesn't have to be that drastic, but it does take some effort. Kaluzniacky talks about practices like meditation and mindfulness as ways to tap into that deep self.
I've heard about those things, but I've always been kind of skeptical. It seems kind of, woo.
I get it. I totally get it. But honestly, there's a lot of research now that shows those practices can really reduce stress, improve focus, and even boost creativity.
So it's not just about feeling good, it's about like training your mind to be more present, less reactive to everything.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes more sense. So let's say I buy into this whole deep self thing for myself, for my own well-being. But how does that translate to, say, working with my team?
Oh, that's a great question. Imagine if everyone on your team was more self-aware, more in tune with their emotions, and also those of their colleagues.
Okay, yeah. Instead of butting heads or just miscommunicating, you'd have a deeper understanding of where everyone's coming from and why they react the way they do.
Right. You could handle conflicts better, communicate more clearly, be more productive, and just be a more supportive team overall.
Okay, I'm liking where this is going. But is there, like, proof this actually works?
Absolutely. Kaluzniacky talks about companies that are incorporating these ideas into their work culture right now.
For real?
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing?
Well, some have dedicated meditation rooms for employees to use during the day. Others are offering mindfulness training. And some even send their IT teams on retreats, like to monasteries.
Wait, monasteries? Seriously?
I know, right? It sounds wild, but it shows that people are realizing that our inner well-being, it's not just a personal thing. It can impact the whole team, the whole organization.
That's pretty amazing. Especially in tech, which, let's be honest, hasn't always had the best reputation for emotional intelligence.
Right. It makes you think bigger, like what if this isn't just about becoming a better tech professional, but about becoming a more resilient and fulfilled person overall?
I like that. Like, our work and personal lives, they're not really separate. They're all connected.
Exactly. And that's why Kaluzniacky encourages us to keep exploring these ideas and see how they can impact not just our careers, but our lives as a whole.
That's a good point. He gives a lot of resources in his book, too, right?
He does. Like, if you're into Myers-Briggs, he recommends Kiersey and Bates' Please Understand Me. And for those fascinated by the Enneagram, there's Palmer's The Enneagram in Love and Work.
Oh, and for that whole deep self concept, what did he suggest?
Oh, for that, check out Siegel's Love, Medicine, and Miracles, or anything by Ken Wilber. They really get into the deeper philosophical and spiritual aspects of consciousness.
So many interesting paths to explore. It's almost overwhelming.
I know, but the main thing is just to start applying these insights and see what works for you. It's a journey.
It is a journey of self-discovery. Okay, before we wrap up, I have one final thought-provoking question for everyone listening.
Ooh, I love these. Hit me.
Okay, so if you could access that deeper self, that inner source of wisdom and resilience, what do you think it would unlock for you? Not just in your tech career, but in your life as a whole.
Think about that. That is a really good question. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around, like how much our inner world impacts our work, especially in a field like tech.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in, right? We've covered Myers-Briggs, the Enneagram, and then this whole idea of a deep self.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you need to master it all at once.
Right. It's not about like memorizing every personality type or suddenly becoming a meditation expert.
Exactly.
It's more about like taking what resonates with you and just trying it out, taking those baby steps.
Yeah, just start exploring. Maybe you're curious about your own Myers-Briggs type, see how it affects how you work,
Well,
or maybe the Enneagram piques your interest. How can it help your team work better together?
or maybe you're drawn to this deep self idea and want to try meditation or mindfulness.
Yeah.
There are so many paths to choose from, and they all lead to like greater self-awareness and resilience, which is so important. It is. And the more we understand ourselves, the better we can handle all the craziness of the IT world.
All the challenges and stress, all the constant changes, they don't go away, but we can handle them better.
For sure. It's like instead of just reacting to stuff, we're responding with more, I don't know, more intention.
It's like you're in the driver's seat.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's what it means to unlock your inner tech wizard. It's not about magic. It's about understanding the human operating system behind it all.
I love that. The human operating system. Okay, so to wrap up this deep dive, just remember to keep exploring these ideas and see what works for you.
Yeah, keep learning and keep diving deep into this fascinating world of IT psychology.
Because ultimately, it's not just about being a better programmer or analyst or whatever your role is. It's about being a more balanced, resilient, and fulfilled you.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Awesome. Well, that's it for today's deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
See you then.